Top of the morning, good afternoon, and hello, and welcome, coaches. All right, Dermot here. You must always bring a cup of tea to these sessions as best as you can. Cup of tea, something hot, doesn't matter what it is. All right, let's jump in. Now, what I've decided to do for these newsletters, since I send them out every Tuesday, and I really get a huge kick out of sending them out, I thought what I'd do is the first and the third Tuesday of the month, or in Ireland we say the first and the third Tuesday of the month, will be business building videos to help you to build your business, create paid coaching clients. Excuse me. And the second and the fourth Tuesday, in Ireland we say Tuesday of the month, we're going to focus on coaching skills. Now, I've been business building and teaching, facilitating, mentoring business building for 10 years. I was a trainer for coaches. I was teaching coaching for 5 years at Ericsson International Coaching School. And I've learned a lot over the years in terms of coaching. So I'm going to do my best to share that with you. Okay. All right. Itchy nose. That means somebody's thinking about me. That's an old Irish wives' tale. I'm not sure if it's true, but there you go. All right. So how do we coach a six-figure client? Bum, bum, bum. How do we coach a six-figure client? All right. I'm going to take you through a little demo of the logical levels, or as they're called in the world, the neurological levels. Basically, how the brain prioritizes action steps, how the brain prioritizes tasks, how the brain prioritizes and structures the different levels of communication that we have out there in the world, the different levels of thinking, environment, action, capabilities, value, vision, identity, and so on and so on. Now, they're called the neurological levels, how the brain organizes. But when I was going through Ericsson, they were called the logical levels, neurological levels from Robert Dilts. Okay. So we're going to look at how do you use the logical levels to coach a six-figure client. Now, when I'm coaching my clients, my six-figure clients, I spend a lot of time on the upper logical levels because the lower logical levels are more about the head and the upper ones are more about the heart. So let's jump in. Just like in the baking show, I've already baked a cake in the form of a whiteboard. And so we're going to take a little look at it. Okay. Now, here you see the logical levels. Let me just grab my little annotator. What do we got here? Arrow. Okay. All right. There's the arrow. There it goes. Now, take a little, some of you are familiar with the logical levels, and some of you may not be familiar with the logical levels. So I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to share with you some questions that you can ask your clients when you're using the logical levels. Now, you'll see here, I have put a little marker. And that marker is a great way to think about the lower logical levels and the upper logical levels. The lower logical levels are really about action and doing. They're about getting stuff done. And when you think about it, in a way, environment, action, capabilities, they're all head-spaced questions. How are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? What are you going to do? Are you going to do it? Which way are you going to do it? Where and when are you going to do it? Now, they all relate to action steps, or another way of thinking that, action steps in time and through time. So when you ask questions like capabilities, what capabilities, what skills do you have? What skills do you need to improve or learn? You're asking from a head-based space. Now, when we go up to the upper logical levels and we look at values, identity, and vision, Now we're moving into the heart space. And so I'm going to show you some questions that I ask my six-figure clients, the ones that pay me six figures, so that you can really get an understanding of how to impact people using these logical levels. They're quite powerful. And a little tip for you, print this out, or if you're in Ericsson, you already have the logical levels, print it out, laminate it, and put it up on your computer. For years, I had the arrow, the coaching arrow from Ericsson, and I had the logical levels on the right-hand side, the coaching arrow on the left. And I coached with that. I just had it on the computer. My clients couldn't see it. And I would just coach. I would just look at it and say, oh, let me ask a logical level, an identity question. Oh, let me ask a value question. So anytime you're coaching clients, there's two ways to go. You can start down here or you can start up here. I typically start at the top and work my way down, but there's no right way to do this. You can go from the bottom to the top. You can go from the middle to the top to the bottom. There's a million ways to use this with a client. I'm going to show you a very typical way that I use it with my clients. Client comes to me and they say something to the effect of, well, a client came to me the other day and the client was really worried about money. Now, the client has a lot of money, but is worried about money. I find that to be actually true of a lot of people who have money. They worry about losing it, not worry about having it. They worry about losing it. And so I said, okay. I said, now, why are you so worried about this money? And the client talked about, losing it and, kids, he couldn't go to school and you have to stop, payments on his house and all this kind of stuff. And then I brought him up to the top, up to the logical levels that actually start to help people to come out of just the problem solving. Because think about it this way, coaches, you don't want to problem solve for clients. There's two ways to have sessions. You can focus on problem solving, or you can focus on creating possibilities. And I'm going to leave a link down. I did a whole 30-minute session on how to listen for possibilities instead of listening to solve a problem. Most coaches solve problems. And I did when I started. But this is a way for you to start creating possibilities for your clients. So I'm going to demonstrate it here for a few minutes. Okay. So I would say to the client, describe what life is like when you're not worrying about losing the money. So I'm taking the client away from the problem, and now I'm focusing on possibility. I'm focusing on what's life like. What are the possibilities that are here available to you that you can see, observe, touch, experience, think about, dream about? What are some of those possibilities that are there when you're not worried about money? Sometimes I might say to the client, hey, if you took a day off worrying about your money, how would that make your life better? How would it expand your life vision? And so in the upper identity with vision, you ask questions like, hey, describe to me the perfect life. Or, John, describe to me what life is like, an average day for you when you're not worried about money. And it could be any, the problem is money, worried about money. John, as you look out into the future and you see a life that has no worries about money, what are you hearing? What are you seeing? What are you feeling? What are you experiencing? What are you describing? What are you not doing? What are you doing? What's making your heart sing? And I ask questions about the vision. Then I'm going to come down to identity. And again, there's no right way to do this. You can use the logical levels any way you want. The only rule I would say is that at the end of the logical levels, make sure you get an action step, something that's going to move the client forward in the direction that they want to go. So this client, I said to him, John, when you're not worried about money, who are you being? And usually the client will say something like, what? Huh? What do you mean, who am I being? What the hell, Dermot? Have you been smoking something? And I'll say, well, I said, how do you act? Which is another way of saying, who are you being? When you're worried about money, what kind of a man are you? Oh, I'm stressed, Dermot. I take it out on the kids. I'm impatient. I'm annoyed. I'm frustrated. I'm short with people. And say, I'll say, well, okay. So in the future, let's pretend that you're the kind of man that doesn't worry about money. So what kind of a man are you then? Oh, I'm relaxed. I'm joy-filled. I'm spending more time with my kids. I'm feeling more confident in myself. Who are you being? It's a great question. I also ask my clients, who are you not being? When you're stressed about money, who are you not being? Well, I'm not being calm, Dermot. I'm not being calmly active. I'm running around like a chicken on speed. Who else are you being? Well, I'm being an A. Who else are you not being? Well, I'm not being present with myself, with others. And so you can ask the client, who are they being and who are they not being when this problem is there? I.e., right now, it's, the worry about losing money. Now, I'll often say to the client, why is it important for you not to worry about money? And the client will say something to the effect of, Dermot, because I waste so much of my valuable time and attention worrying about money. It slows me down. And so what's the benefits of value question? You can also ask is benefits. Another way of asking value question. Note to myself, don't have poached eggs on a muffin before you do a video. Okay, let's get back to it. Why is that important to you? What's beneficial to you about not worrying about money? Why is that valuable to you, to not worry about money? What's important to you about having enough money? Value questions. Values are upper logical levels. They're the heart. All these here, heart, vision, identity, who are you being? Why is that important? And then capabilities is action and doing, which is the head. Hey, what do you want to do? I'll do that, that, and that. Heart, values, identity, vision. Now there are, so of course, when you're doing something, you bring heart to it, of course. But the behind the doing is always a value. Always. There's always a reason you're doing something. If you're smoking, there's a positive value. If you're drinking, there's a positive value. Hey, smoking for me years ago when I smoked, it slowed me down. It calmed me down. That was the positive value. In every negative value or negative behavior, there's a positive value wanting to be expressed. When a client says to you, I hate smoking, you might ask the client, well, what value do you get from smoking? What's the positive effect of smoking on you? There isn't any. Well, maybe if there was, what might it be? Oh, it relaxes me. A drink in the evening relaxes me. So values come from the heart. Values are things like joy, peace, love, compassion, those courage, confidence. They're all values. They all come from the heart. Beliefs come from the head. Values come from the heart. Now, when you've spent some time up here with the client, who do you want to be? Given the problem that you just told me about, what do you want to create? That's a vision question. Given the problem that you just told me, right? The problem was always doing. I don't have enough for this. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What is it you want instead? If this problem was to blow away, describe what life would be like. That's a vision question. Identity question. Who are you being? Who are you not being? What kind of a person do you want to be? What kind of a man do you want to be? What kind of a woman do you want to be? Who do you want to step up to be? Who's your idol in the world? How could you be more like them? What is it that you value about that person? Oh, I value their confidence. I value their courage. So how might you step into more value, into more courage and confidence for yourself? In being that person, how would that change your life? How would that make your life better? How would it make this problem seem less if you were to be that person? Who do you need to be? Now, in capabilities, once you've spent some time, when I spend time with the clients in vision, identity, and values, and it's starting to come to the end of the session, I might start moving into the lower logical levels. But again, there's no right way to do this. This is only one way to, you can go from bottom to top, top to bottom, middle to top, and to bottom. But you'll always end up with action. You'll always end up on the lower logical levels, always. Tip, when you do a vision for a client, describe the perfect life. Close your eyes, look up and out. You always want to ask the client, look up and out. It connects them with the neocortex, with the frontal lobe. Then you go into the capabilities. So, John, what skills do you have already that are going to help with this problem of yours about the worrying about the money? Well, I'm good at making money. Tell me more. Well, I've made money for years. Have you ever not made money? Yeah, a few times. And have you ever made it back? Yeah, I have. Have you lost money? Yeah, I have. Which is what I asked the client. Have you made it back? Yeah, I have. I say, so what's the problem? You say, gosh, Dermot, there's not really any problem, is there? And so then I might say to the client, so are there any skills that you need to develop? Capabilities or skills? Is there any skills that you have? Is there any skills that you don't have? Are there any skills that you have but you need to up level? Are there any skills that you don't have that you'd really love to up level for yourself or learn? Capabilities or skills or things that you already have at your disposal. What skills do you have? How can you use those skills to make more money? How can you use those skills that you have to worry less? Are you capable of doing this? Yes, I am. Are you really capable of losing all your money and never making it again? No, I'm not, Dermot. See, now I'm challenging the client. All right, now you go into action. Now, at the end of every session, never leave a client in vision. Bring them down to back into action and doing. Never leave them in a vision. Have them put their feet on the floor, move their hands, take them out of the vision, come back present into the room, and then get into action. Never leave a client in vision because they won't have any action steps and they'll be floating away. Not a good time to drive a car either. So then you ask the client, you go to action. What do you need to do? What's one thing that you can do that's going to move you in the direction of, creating more money? Which way do you want to move in terms of creating more money? How do you want to do that? What is one action step that you can create right now that's going to move you in the direction you want to go? Always get one action step from the client. Now, there's a rare occasion that there's no action steps. But most of the time, there's an action step. And get at least one. Now, here's a key thing to remember, and then we're going to close. Values. Always, always ask the client a value question about their action step. Oh, why, Dermot? Because you've got to find out why it's important for the client to do that step. Most coaches say, well, so what's that one action step that you're going to do? Oh, I'll, read this book. Okay, great. And that's it. You want to spend time in the action step with the values question. Why is it important for you to do that action step? How will your life be better if you complete this action step? How will your life be greater if you complete this action step? How will this impact your identity, who you're being, if you're to do this action step? How will it make you a better person, a better father, a better mother, a better employee, a better businessman, a better executive, better CEO, whatever it is? How will it make you better if you do complete this action step? And then I always ask the client, do you need support? I do, Dermot. Yeah, okay. When are you doing the action step? When? Environment. So now we're down to environment. When are you going to do it? I'm going to do it on Thursday at 4 o'clock. All right, where are you going to do it? I'm going to do it at home by my computer. Wonderful. You want support? Yes, Dermot, I'd love some coaching support. Great. Email me right after you've done the action step on Thursday. At what time? At 4 o'clock. Wonderful. Email me and just write in the subject line, action step complete. Oh, I'll do that, Dermot. Wonderful. And that's it. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, that sounds really simple, Dermot. But the more you practice with the logical levels, the more skilled you become. Now, by the way, are you using logical levels already? Yes. Every time you have a conversation with someone, you're using logical levels. Every time you do a coaching session, you're doing logical levels. You might not know it, but you're using them. They're in their structure of conversation. That's what the logical levels are, how the brain structures a conversation. Now, let's stop sharing here. Play with that. Just play with using the logical levels. Print that out. Or take a screenshot of it and just start using it. Start asking questions from each level. Very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. Now, that's how I coach six-figure clients. But here's the rub. Every client that you coach should be a six-figure client. Every client that you coach. When I'm doing a complimentary session, six-figure client. They've already paid me six figures. When I'm giving out a complimentary session to someone who might be interested in the art and science of business building, six-figure client. I treat them like every client that comes to me, paid or non-paid, complimentary or not, they're a six-figure client. And I would encourage you to start taking on that approach, not as a way to scare yourself. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But for me, it really helps me to slow down, be present with the human being, and not to take the session for granted. Oh, it's just a complimentary session, you know, I'll do something, you know. But to really show up, coach position, be present, be with another human being. Clients pay us for two things, and I'll close with this. They pay us to see their life differently, and they pay us to help them to live their life differently. And the logical levels are a wonderful way to give the big picture, to show the big picture to a client. All right, last but not least, coming up on December 9th is our last, and I do mean last, Experience Masterclass. Now, in this Masterclass, it's kind of special, something I'm doing I've never done before. I'm going to do a 45-minute demo. I'm going to coach someone on how to build their business from A to Z, from start, middle, and end. So that you get an idea of what it's like. What do I need to think about as I'm moving out of school? What is it I need to think about, you know, being a seasoned coach and building a coaching practice, part-time coach, full-time coach, whatever it might be. What do I need to do? It's going to be a wonderful, and then we'll do a Q&A afterwards. That'll be the whole class, basically. I'll also teach you a grounding exercise for coach position, and I'm also going to share the 6 steps for business building that I teach in the art and science of business building. Now, the program starts January 4th, and enrollment will close December 15th. So if you're interested in the program, come to that Experience Masterclass on December 9th, where I'll be doing the demo. If you're not interested in the program, come to that class. You'll get a really great snapshot of what it looks like to start a business, start a coaching practice, what you need to be thinking about, what questions you need to be asking, what things you need to be putting in place to support the foundation for that business. Okay, what else? I had one other thing. What was it? Oh, yes. our weekly resource down below. Now, our weekly resource is actually the last experience masterclass we did on November 23rd, because I did a session in there, a demo on most coaches are listening to solve a problem. And I did a 10-minute demo on what it looks like to listen to a client trying to solve the problem. And then after that, I did a 20-minute demo on what it's like to listen to understand, what it's like to take a problem and not focus on the problem, focus on the possibilities that the problem is bringing forward. Powerful. Most coaches focus on the problem, not the possibility that the problem is bringing forward. And so I did a whole demo on that. I also taught a grounding exercise, very powerful class. So that is this week's resource. It's a 90-minute class. It was a hell of a lot of fun, a lot of coaching, a lot of questions on business building. So enjoy this week's resource. And I look forward to seeing you all in the class. The link is down below to sign up for the December 9th. And as always, I do ask that, hey, if you're in school or you're out of school and you're meeting with other coaches, you know other coaches, please share this newsletter with them and invite them, or just the link, invite them to come to the next experience, the Art and Science of Business Building. And if you are interested in that program, this class will really help you in getting clear whether this is the right fit for you or not. Until then, think big, have fun, stay curious, and be good to yourself. Cheers.